Shalom, shalom.
Shalom.
Hayawam Tawab La Atham, which is good day unto you all. Anakna Wahai Boy Shalai, we the Hebrew Israelites coming to you week in and week out through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shah, to preach to so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, West Indians, Haitians, and Israelite foreigners, Nacham Atham, Kaya, Hamalak Hashamayim Kwab. Repent ye for the kingdom of heaven is at hand, first and foremost. Before we get started, I'm going to say, call Laim La, Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shah, Bahasham, Rachakodash. A double honor to those apostles of great millstone that taught us his truth and rule well, and much respect to you brothers out there pushing his truth with all righteousness and sincerity. Shalom, shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom lakam, which is peace to you all. All right. So gonna go ahead and get right into it. There's been things talks about Israel. They shot off a couple rockets and about like 500 people were unalived. Then also you got the it's like chaos in the cities of America, which this is going to be happening. It's going to be very prevalent in the days to come, because the scriptures go into how there shall be sedition among men. All right. It also talks about, civil wars and fighting. All right. We see it in Isaiah the 19th chapter. So we're pretty much going to touch on that in the spirit. I don't want to zaza about Naya Paulos, but this is a beautiful edification through the spirit.
Let me start in the second Esdras.
Yeah, we start with that.
Okay. So second Esdras chapter 15 and verse 1. Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord.
And he says, behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy. Pretty much the words of the scriptures. All right, break the scriptures down. The scriptures say that go through the gates, cast up the highway, lift up a standard for the people. And that's what the men of the Lord are doing, because the Lord said, essentially, he's showing compassion to his people, all right, by putting out his hand. He's allotting salvation to the nation, you see, but only the elect is going to repent, and turn back,
God. And cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true.
Right, for they are faithful and true. Isaiah 34:16, it goes into pretty much, I'm going to get it real fast because I don't want to butcher it, but this is Isaiah 34 and verse 16, and it says, seek ye out of the book of the Lord and read, no one of these shall fail, none shall want her mate, for my mouth it hath commanded, and his spirit it hath gathered them. So no one of these shall fail, going into the prophecies. Hey, because if you look in the times of like the Renaissance, all right, in different times and points in history, all of those time periods came to pass, and it was prophesied in the scriptures, just like the things in the future is going to happen,
That's right. Fear not the imagination against thee, let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee.
Right. And it says, fear not the imaginations against thee, and let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee, because you got a lot of dis and unbelievers out there, so scriptures pretty much go into I'm gonna get that too, but this is Romans chapter 3 and verse 3. I'm going to a precept with this one. This is Romans 3 and 3, and it says, for what if some did not believe? Should their unbelief make the faith of the Most High without effect? God forbid. Yet let the Most High be true, but every man a liar, as it is written, thou mightest be justified in thy sayings, and mightest overcome when thou art justified. You see, so ultimately going into don't worry about their unbelief, because those that are unbelievers, right, they feel as if they're comfortable and whatever sense of security that they have, you see, but they're going to be judged in that unbelief and that incredulity, which that word incredulity goes back to unbelief.
Right. And even you go into the imaginations against us, right? This is what we see the system turn into, right? They're making all these laws and legislations, these copyright programs, these anti-hate laws and things of that nature, right? To attack the prophets, right? And so this is those imaginations, right? That Edom is establishing, right, in order to get the prophets out of the way. Esdras 15 and verse 4. For all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness.
God says, for all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. So essentially 2/3 are going to die in their unbelief. Whatever said peril the Lord has set for them to be judged, and they're going to receive of that plague. You know.
That's right. Behold, saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world, sword, famine, death, and destruction.
Right. This is what the Lord is coming with, sword. You know, and in the New Testament, it talks about how Yahweh Shai, you know, he coming to bring division, and the sword also brings destruction. You know, so that's what we're seeing happen upon the earth. All right, people, 500 people just unalived. You know, even the countless amounts of people that they're not reporting on. You know, because Esau doesn't report every time somebody drops. You know,
Right.
it says famine. All right, it's a great famine right now. All right, that's why they're pretty much what do you call it? Like rationing out stuff, like it says in Ezekiel. You know, essentially, they're making the containers bigger, and then they're making the portion smaller. Then also, they're charging you for like a la carte and stuff like that. Because at one time, you could get a combo, you know, wherever you went to, but now you got to pay for the entree, the drink, and the fries. You know, pretty much making it you're paying more, but you're getting less. You know, pretty much because it's a famine.
Okay.
It says death and destruction, and that's you know that's entailed in some of the plagues that the Lord is touching His place with. You know, chiefly America, Babylon the Great. You know, and also different parts of the world.
That's right. Verse 7.
Who's
Just
at
like
6?
verse 6. For wickedness hath exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled.
Because the scriptures say that for the city shall be destroyed because of because of great pride. You know, Second Esdras 8 and verse 50, if I'm not mistaken. But pretty much, hey, the world has walked in great pride. You know, that's why it says there. It says polluted the whole wickedness hath exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. Like pretty much, the Lord speaks in similitudes. You know, and this is a the flood was a foreshadowing of what's going on today, you know, which wickedness, if I could mention, wickedness was at the highest peak back in those times, you see, but wickedness is at its highest as it's been before, you know, right now, you know.
That's right. Real quick. So, see if I can find it. Because the scriptures talk about how this is a land of darkness, as darkness itself.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Now, this is Isaiah. It's a lot.
So talking about Job 10 and 21.
I was looking for gross darkness to people.
Isaiah 60 and 2.
60 and 2, yeah. So Isaiah chapter 60 and verse 2. Yeah. Isaiah 60 and 2, for behold, the darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people. But the Lord shall rise upon thee, and his glory shall be seen upon thee. But the point, right, that gross darkness, that overwhelming darkness, is what's covering the entire globe, man. Right? Like I said, his hurtful works are fulfilled, and his wickedness is exceedingly polluted the whole earth. Right? So all these philosophies, these ways of thinking, these customs, that they push throughout the globe, right, is why we're seeing the Lord come with such with fervency. Second Ezra 15 and 7. Therefore saith the Lord, I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness, which they profanely commit. Neither will I suffer them in those things in which they wickedly exercise themselves. Behold, the innocent and righteous blood crieth unto me, and the souls of the just complain continually.
Right, because essentially, like bro's going to, the elect is like sleeper cells, pretty much reporting everything that's going on in this society, like Lot. Essentially Lot, he was vexed with the filthy conversation of the wicked. That's the steed that the elect is coming there, all the abominations and the atrocities is going on. That's why it says, and the souls of the just complain continually. We're tired of having to essentially walk around with moles around. We're tired of the society, being downtrodden, being worn out, paying taxes, being in this lower state. We want to see better for our people.
That's right. And therefore saith the Lord, I will surely avenge them and receive unto me all the innocent blood from among them.
Right, going into the elect, the Lord said that He preserved the remnant.
Verse 10, behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter. I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt.
All right, when she says to dwell in the land of Egypt, which Egypt represents bondage. I'm gonna get that real fast. This is Shamwath, Exodus chapter 20, and we'll get verse 2, and it says, I'm gonna start from verse 1. It says, and the Most High spake all these words, saying, I am the Lord thy power, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. All right, so essentially, Egypt represents bondage, which the Israelites are in servitude today. I'm gonna get that real fast because the Lord essentially is touching Egypt like He did before, mentioned in Exodus, Shamwath, the 7th chapter. All right, this is it's a lot. This is Jeremiah chapter 50 and verse 33, and it says, thus saith the Lord of hosts, the children of Israel and the children of Yahweh that were oppressed together, and all that took them captives held them fast, and they refused to let them go. And that's chiefly in America, Babylon the Great, which it also will be spiritual Egypt. All right, Assyria. All right, Assyria, Babylon. All right, Egypt. Sodom and Gomorrah. All pretty much this place takes on the spirit of all those off places.
Right. Hey, when you go into that word dwell, it means to abide in a place, man, to stay.
Mm-hmm.
And the scriptures tell us to depart, right? Arise you depart, for this is not your rest. Here we have no continuing city, and like he even said, that will no longer stay upon those who smoke them, man. Right, roughly paraphrasing. So the Lord is, removing us from this dwelling so that we can, have a heavenly dwelling, man. Because it all starts with the spirit. It's 2nd Ezra 15 and verse 11. It reads, but I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm, smite Egypt with plagues as before, and will destroy all the land thereof.
Yep. So we see in the plagues of Egypt, essentially touch America, i.e., famine, death, all right, different pestilences. All right. We're seeing the destruction of the economy when you go into Isaiah the 19th chapter. Pretty much the Lord, even back in ancient Egypt, which Isaiah 19 is essentially going into this present day Egypt, you see, but back in ancient Egypt, their economy was touched as well. The Nile River, they really relied on the Nile River. So even when we talk about in terms of today, America's economy is being stricken, through the plagues.
That's right. Egypt shall mourn, and the foundation of it shall be smitten with plague and punishment that the Most High shall bring upon it.
Mm-hmm. So could we go ahead and get that article? That's what we see the Lord doing. We're seeing the civil unrest, the judgments around the rest of the world. The Lord is bringing plagues upon America, Babylon Great. You see, and also judgments across these Edomite hegemonies across the world, the globe.
That's right. It's an article off of police1.com. It reads, Philly officers attacked cruisers damaged trying to disperse at least 11 street takeovers in 7 hours.
Khan says pretty much going into the I'm going to get in this chapter, but the sedition, they're not minding, the laws and the power structures that's already set up in Egypt,
Exactly. Can we keep going on that?
Khan, would you read a little bit of it?
It reads, multiple Philadelphia police officers were attacked and their vehicles damaged while trying to break up nearly a dozen illegal car meetups throughout the city late Saturday into Sunday morning. Mm-hmm. Police said causing mayhem and rattling the nerves of residents in nearby neighborhoods.
Right. So essentially, pretty much those are like that's in like the car community, I guess. They're causing noise and stuff like that. But then you also have those that I guess are trying to live their day to day. So those two groups are against each other. You see, while the police are pretty much the middleman, but you got the car, those that are driving the cars, they're against the police. So Babylon's divided on all fronts.
Exactly. And it's just that was it the love of many waxing cold, right? Mm-hmm. People don't care about their neighbors, right? They don't
Mm-hmm.
care about their fellow man or their next, countryman, as they would say. They're only concerned about, fulfilling their wills. And that's why you see, right, they don't care about, these people don't care about the police. These people don't care about their neighbors. They don't care about, they don't care about anything really, man. You know? And like as we'll read, it's going to talk about how um, they're pretty much going to nullify, the laws and the established power structure. Uh, Going back to that second Ezra 15, it reads, they till the ground for their seeds. It's verse 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against each other, and swords in their hands.
Right, and we didn't see that in that article, but it's happened in the past. You see, and we understand that it's going to happen, in the future. So it says, "For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands." Which, Esau has that pretty much. He's setting the stage for that right now. Slot. But pretty much he's setting the stage for that right now. He's making it to where people don't necessarily have to go down and take different training courses to obtain different firearms and stuff like that. He's making it more accessible for people to gain access to, weapons, and putting that in their mindset that, hey, go ahead and, do things as such, to fulfill prophecy.
And that's why they're allowing these migrants, right, to come in, because they come in with a different mentality as well, because they come from a third world survivalist mindset. So they know what it takes, right, when it's a dog eat dog world. So they come in and see, everything, all these people living cute right now, and they take advantage of that. That's why we see what's happening with those Venezuelans, the Trinidad Arguas or whatever they're called, right? That's why you see what's going on with the so-called Haitians, and then trying to demonize them, but they're not doing anything on their good volition either, man. But
Right.
we've seen these take place because it's causing more and more division. So you got division, from neighbor to neighbor. You got division between the migrants and the American citizens, and then you got political divisions as well, man.
Right.
Verse 15, verse 16 rather. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power.
Right. It says, for there shall be sedition among men. All right, sedition, pretty much violent uprisings. Pretty much. And it says invading one another. They're going to be invading one another, like going to different neighborhoods. Going to different areas of the city. When all this stuff pops off on a much greater fashion, Jake knows exactly where to go to. Because the poor is going to be set against the rich against the poor. All right. Essentially, all the different facets of beliefs that America Babylon the Great has, everybody's going to be faced against each other, And it says, they shall not regard their kings nor princes, which we got an example of that inside the article. Pretty much they was attacking the cop cars, throwing different things at the windows, jumping on the car, And it says, they shall not regard their kings nor princes. That will be your modern day kings and princes, those that are in some form of leadership. And it says, and the course of their action shall stand in their power. And pretty much reading in the article, they pretty much was doing whatever they wanted to. They had to. It was like they said a gathering of like 200 people, and they blocked off. They pretty much blocked like 11 different streets.
Mm-hmm. It says, verse 17: a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. For because of their pride, the cities shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid.
Right. It says a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able, which Esau gonna make it to some way somehow to where, essentially, these cities aren't going to be accessible. They also they having talks about like 15-minute cities. So Esau's pretty much making these cities to where it's like everything is it's like all inclusive, so to speak, or whichever one makes everybody inclusive or exclusive, right. One of those words. But pretty much Esau got these different apartment complexes. Under the apartment complex they got shops. He pretty much just makes everything to funnel everybody into where he wants them to go. So it says, You go ahead.
Now I was just going to add, going back to that sedition, it goes into disorder, man, right? And that disorder is going to lead to great violence. So in order to quell that disorder and bring some type of what's it called, order at chaos, right? Order from the chaos that's taking place, they're going to shut the cities down. They're going to send in the martial law troops. They're even going to have these what they call the EU peacekeepers, right? That are coming around the country, right? All to reestablish that order, in order to quell the violence that's taking place, the uprisings that are taking place. Because of that, this is going to lead to them implementing the MOTB as a means of salvation, right? They're going to do all these things because the violence between the people is just a small portion, of what's about to happen, right? As we read, the famines are coming, the plagues are coming, that the economic turmoil, right, is about to happen, right? So people are going to be in a state of being destitute, and they're going to be looking for a way out, and that's when that order of chaos, they're going to offer you a way out, right, through this device.
Right. So it says, verse 19, it says, a man, 2nd Ezra 15:19, it says, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of lack of bread and from great tribulation. Pretty much, the scriptures say that the love of many shall wax cold. It's going to be a lot of judgments going on, And in the time of Jacob's trouble, essentially, it's going to be all chaos. So that's essentially going to be the mindset of the people,
That's it.
So could we get, we can hop to the other article, Baba Kushah.
This is off of theguardian.com. It reads, nearly 500 killed in Israeli strikes, Lebanon says, as fears of escalation grow as it happens.
Khan, it says fears of escalation, which that the masses don't want this, but us, we want it, because that represents essentially that's another step closer to the kingdom,
That's it.
That goes back. We said,
no, I was saying prophecy. I said prophecy reigns over everything, man.
Right, going back to the latter verses of the previous verses we got in the beginning of the chapter, the incredulity of them, that would be the incredulity, because the masses of the people, they don't want another war. They just want to be comfortable, kicked up, playing Xbox, whatever they do.
Right, exactly. Up and down. Or do you want to read through this?
Yeah, just a little bit.
Let's see. It reads here. It's a lot. It's a couple. It says at least 492 people have been killed so far in Lebanon today by Israeli airstrikes on the south and eastern parts of the country and on the southern suburb of Beirut. Almost 1,650 people have been injured as well, according to the Lebanese Health Ministry. The death toll keep rising as more information comes from the onslaught of bombings today as Israel targets its northern neighbors in an effort to counteract against Hezbollah.
Okay, you keep going.
Okay. It says Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant said Israel's airstrikes in Lebanon today have destroyed tens of thousands of Hezbollah rockets, adding to the most difficult week for the Iranian-backed movement since its creation.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty much the point. From the title, the Lord pretty much brought judgment to these the heathen nations. They had 500 people drop in Israel. They're not the true people, so that, and then it said 1,650 people was injured, which Esau likes to play with the numbers and stuff like that, but essentially we can see that the Lord is pronouncing judgment or making judgment throughout the earth. Could we get Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 14? And I got this right here. This is I got two. This is Psalm 66 and verse 5. It says, "Come and see the works of the Most High. He is terrible in his doing toward the children of men." All right. Psalms 76 and 12. It says, "He shall cut off the spirit of princes. He is terrible to the kings of the earth." Hey, so essentially, the populations and the people in these heathen nations, they're being touched. You know.
Mhm. This is Habakkuk chapter 2. You said 14?
Kanye, yeah.
Habakkuk 2 and 14. For the earth shall be filled with the knowledge of the glory of the Lord as the waters cover the sea. It reads,
Yeah.
woe unto him. Sorry.
Yeah, that was the point, because pretty much it said the knowledge of the glory of the Lord shall cover the earth as it does the sea. You know, because the scriptures say in Psalm the 73rd chapter, you know, they set their mouths against the heavens, and their tongue walked through the earth. So what's been pushed forth in this society is what Esau wants to be upheld. You know, hey, you know, do this, or if you want sports this day hey, you know, on Sunday, or this is what you're supposed to be doing. You see, but now, hey, the Lord is making it to where, you know, these different facets of entertainment is being brought down, but hey, this truth is spreading throughout the earth. You know, it's exposing all the lies and stuff like that. And we're seeing the Lord pretty much do judgment to give glory to his name, you know.
That's right. And I got that for you. Psalm 9 and verse 16. The Lord is known by the judgment which he executeth. The wicked is snared in the work of his own hands. Higgiah Selah.
Right. The Lord is known by his judgment, which he executed. The Lord is essentially executing judgment. And it said the wicked is ensnared by the work of his own hands. Hey, the scriptures say that these other nations are going to have to be touched, you know, because of what they did to their tribes, you know. All right, these other nations are going to have to drink of that cup. Could we get Psalm 75 and verse things like verse 8? I'm gonna get this. This is Obadiah chapter 15, and it says, "For the day of the Lord is near upon all the heathen, as thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thine own head." All right, and essentially, you know, Esau, you know, he would take a couple of times he went through like places like Philadelphia. You know, he pretty much I believe he like dropped some bombs over there back in like the 80s or 70s. But you had Rosewood, you know, to where he blew that up. That was a prominent, you know, Jake society. You see what Jake was still going off, you know, but Esau, the wicked has to be judged for that, you know, for touching the Lord's people. Because essentially, I'm gonna read it again. It says, "Ibadiah Obadiah 1 and 15, for the day of the Lord is near upon all the heathen, as thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thine own head," which is chiefly going into, you know, them going to serve their captivity, all right, and their kingdoms being destroyed, you know. And it says, "For as ye have drunk upon my holy mountain, so shall all the heathen drink continually. Yet they shall drink, and they shall swallow down, and they shall be as though they had not been." You know, they're gonna receive double. You know, they can get the parts that they don't really want to, that tough pill to swallow. You know,
right, exactly. It's Psalm 75. Starting verse 7, it reads, "But the Most High is the judge. He putteth down one and setteth up another."
It's a he put up down one and setteth up another. Right now we're in that transition period, you know, to where the heathen and the curses is going on the heathen. All right, and then also essentially the table is spinning. You know, because right now Esau's at the head of the table. You know, but the Lord is spinning that table to where Jake is going to be ahead of the table. You know.
That's right. For in the hand of the Lord there is a cup, and the wine is bread. It is full of mixture, and he poureth out the same. But the dregs thereof, all the wicked of the earth shall wring them out and drink them.
Right. The dregs is the part where it's the most bitter. You know, the part you don't really want to, the part you probably would need like a chaser for. You know, they're gonna drink all the bitterness. You know, like the slavery. You know, pretty much the parts that they don't really want to come into grips with. You know, they gonna be at the bottom. You know, they not gonna be the lender no more. You know, so they got to get real comfortable with being uncomfortable. But we know it's not gonna happen. You know, because they're gonna be ruled with a rod of iron. You know,
That's right.
let me get that too. This is which that's pretty much it. If you ain't had nothing else, bro. This is
I did want to get on real quick, just going into the dregs.
I'm gonna get well, you go ahead and touch on that. I get that when you're done.
Okay, okay. It's Jeremiah 25 and verse 27. So it reads, "Therefore thou shalt say unto them, thus saith the Lord of hosts, the power of Israel, drink ye and be drunken, and spew and fall, and rise no more, because of the sword which I will send among you. And it shall be, if they refuse to take the cup at thy hand to drink, then shalt thou say unto them, thus saith the Lord of hosts, ye shall certainly drink. For lo, I began to bring evil on the city, which is called by my name, and should be utterly unpunished. And should ye be utterly unpunished, ye shall not be unpunished. For I will call for a sword upon all the inhabitants of the earth, saith the Lord of hosts." So this is what we're seeing taking place, right? It's the Lord allowing that vengeance to take place in the earth, which is going to culminate in the valley of Yahweh Shaphat, and then that thermonuclear warfare that's going to cleanse the earth, man, and remove all the wicked.
What scripture was that?
Jeremiah 25, 27 through 29.
Through 29. Okay. This is this is Thahoyim Psalms chapter 2, and we'll get verse 8. And it says, "Ask of me, and I shall give thee the heathen for thine inheritance, and the uttermost parts of the earth for thy possession. Thou shalt break them with a rod of iron, thou shalt dash them in pieces like a potter's vessel." Pretty much going into how we're going to be ruling over these over the nations, very strictly, because the scriptures say chiefly Esau Edom, because he gonna be at the very, very bottom. He's gonna go back to the basis of men. We're gonna have our foot in his neck. Pretty much it's gonna be a very straight rulership, narrow.
Right. Oh, yeah. And where did it go? So there was a precept I wanted to get. Oh, here it is. It says Psalm 9 and verse 17. It reads, "The wicked shall be turned into hell, and all the nations that forget the Most High." Right. So that hell is what? A state of destitution, man. Right. A terrible state. The grave. Right. All these things, a lower state. Right. So the wicked are going to be sent to a lower state. Drinking the dregs, the extremely bitter. Right. They're gonna all these heathen nations are gonna be right. Most are gonna be put to death, but then we're gonna have those who are those first fruits of slavery, man. Right. And that's gonna be their case for that 1,000 years. Right. So that when it says they shall be turned into hell, and all the nations that forget the Most High. Right. So all these nations have forgotten about the power that governs the earth, that governs existence, man. And ultimately they made made merchandise of his people, man. Right? They've touched the apple of his eye, and now he's coming to recompense them as a result.
Actually, I got two more. Could you get Isaiah 14 and 21? I'm gonna get this. This is Revelation chapter 13. We start at verse 9. It says, "If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity." If you look at all of those that took the nation of Yasha'Allah captive, it will be all the nations. If you look at it, you had the transatlantic slave trade. You had Amalek at the pretty much funding it. All right, you had a group of heathen that made the boats. Or you had Ham rounded us up over in the interiors of Africa, but then you also had the sub-Saharan slave trade. With the Arabs. So everybody pretty much had a part to play in our captivity. It says, "He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword." Who killed with the sword? Esau. He pretty much was gifted the sword in Genesis. And Revelation 6 and 4 said that he took peace from the earth. He took peace from the earth and many different variations of the sword. So it says, "He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword." Here's the patience and the faith of the saints, the patience, the long suffering. That's what we're waiting for. And we're waiting for the kingdom to where we're seeing this man in chains,
Mm-hmm. This is Isaiah 14 and verse 21. It reads, "Prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not
Oh,
rise nor."
hey, you can finish. My bad.
Okay. That they do not rise nor possess the land nor fill the face of the world with cities.
I actually want at verse 2, but yeah, that fits too. It says, "Prepare
Okay,
slaughter
okay.
for the church, prepare slaughter for his children for the iniquity of their fathers." Because essentially, the scriptures deal, or in this thing we call life, essentially it deals with regeneration. So Esau, in this time, it's his forefathers, back in the past, so he's essentially being judged for his crimes and atrocities his crimes and atrocities that he pretty much perpetrated throughout the earth, back years ago, and it says, you about to say something?
I was going to read that verse 2 for you.
I'm gonna read this, the latter part, Isaiah 14 and 21. It says, "For the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not rise nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities." And scriptures say that if they be multiplied, it's for the sword. So if any kids, Esau didn't have kids like that. He don't reproduce like that. So
Right.
essentially, the kids that he do have, they just being born to taste the sword.
That's it.
We get verse 2.
Isaiah 14 and 2. Okay. So Isaiah 14 and 2. "And the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids. And they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors."
Right, rule over their oppressors, like we got in Revelation, the 13th chapter. Pretty much, a lot of times, so-called Christians like to say, well, everybody gonna be in peace. Ain't nobody gonna, how they like to go into, but pretty much, somebody got to build the kingdom up. So who's gonna build the kingdom up? It's gonna be Esau and these heathen. It's going to be subjects in the kingdom. Hey, Esau did it. So we're gonna get the heathen in the kingdom. They're gonna build everything up. They're gonna work. All right, it's gonna be continual employment in the kingdom. It's not gonna be any unemployment. How it is in this society. It's always gonna be some work to be done.
Right. That's right.
Because you got anything else, bro? Okay. Well, I don't want to Zaza about name Apollos, who does a beautiful edification through the spirit. While I don't want to Zaza Thumb, Yashia Wam to Wabe, Lord's will you have a good day. Or we can go ahead and close it up by saying, Call Light and Law, Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shah, Bahasham, Chah Kodash. A double honor to those and apostles, a great millstone that torches his truth and rule well. And much respect to you, bros, out there pushing his truth with all righteousness and sincere. Shalom, shalom. How you want to Wab, shalom.
Shalom.